this one
movie.
definitely wasn't comedy. It was rom sad, rom death. But like, I feel like Netflix, every once in a while, they start coming out with like these romance movies, and they like slide a movie or show in there that's just devastating, and you're like, what the heck? Like,
welcome to the Point of View podcast. My name is Osatohamen.
And my name's Uyiosa.
And here we are today for another episode.
Yep, we're super excited to be talking about this movie that literally just came out like 2 days ago, I think.
From when we're filming.
Yeah, so it's currently August 3rd. This movie came out August 1st. I was like kind of excited to watch it. The movie's called My Oxford Year.
I'm sure you saw on the title.
yeah, exactly. And then also I think it's like, currently it's number 2 on Netflix. I don't know what it'll be by the time this comes out. But I was like kind of excited to watch it. I told her about the movie. We're like, okay, let's watch it and like, film this episode.
We have Sophia Carson, and we love Sophia Carson.
And then Corey Milchrist. I don't know how to say his name, but I know he's the guy from Bridgerton.
Or no, not from
Queen Charlotte.
The prequel.
Yeah,
the prequel to Bridgerton.
Yeah. So, 2 like pretty well-known actors, I would say. Like people know their names. So, we were super excited to watch this movie, and for those of you who haven't watched it yet, and you might be watching this.
Sorry, guys. There are spoilers here, but
yeah, maybe just watch the movie first and come back.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a fun ride.
But yeah, what you were saying, it's number 2 on Netflix. I feel like my rating put it down because I thumbs down it because this movie was a sad ending, and I hate romance movies that are sad endings.
And don't get me started when the trailer has nothing about like the cancer, the illness, whatever.
Because they know no one's going to watch it. Would you watch
5 Feet Apart? People watch that movie. The Fault in My Stars. People read the book and they still watch that movie.
But I feel like that was because the book was such a big part of your childhood that like people read The Fault in My Stars. But like no one, I had never heard of My Oxford Year, the book. Like it's a book. I've never heard of it.
It turns out, I saw this on TikTok today. It turns out, because remember I was saying to you that the book ending had a different ending than like the movie. Mm-hmm. Apparently when they wrote the script, like I guess years ago, like the author of like the Now book had like seen the script because they wanted someone who had actually been in Oxford. So she'd been in Oxford. She'd like given them like her opinions, her lifestyle, like what had happened the year she spent in Oxford, and they kind of like wrote a script on it. And she kind of basically took the script and then like wrote a book from it. And I think the book came out like 7 years ago. And so like people have read the book, and then finally they came out with the movie this year. And so people are like, oh, well, why does it have a different ending? Because like technically the script for the movie was written before, so they weren't gonna like just change it.
Huh.
Again, maybe that isn't true. Maybe someone was lying, but I did see that on TikTok. I don't know why you would lie about something like that, but that's the lore on like why the movie and the book ending are different, and also why the movie is a little bit different than the book. A lot of people say the book is more intense.
Her name is not, so the girl's name, Yos is going to talk about the summary, but her name's Anna in the movie, and her book, and in the book her name is not Anna.
It's really like Ella. Or,
like where, I mean...
I don't know, but we can jump into a quick summary because I know it did just come out. So basically it's called My Oxford Year. This girl named Ana de la Vega basically gets like this like, and well, in the book she gets a scholarship. In the movie it's not really clear, but she's basically going to Oxford for a year, and she's attending this program that she got into. It's this graduate program to basically study like Victorian era like poems. That's like the whole movie. They're quoting like all these old historical Shakespeare, like all the old writers you can think of, they're quoting them. And so she's going to this program, and then she's going to go back to her home in New York, and she's going to go work the big job that she spent all of her life working towards, because all she's ever wanted to do is be successful and have a plan, go to school, get a job, and like that's it. And so she goes to Oxford, she meets some people, and she ends up meeting this guy named Jamie, who actually is like technically her professor, but he's not her professor. He's like the PhD like student under the professor that's basically like subbing for the class because like the professor is too busy.
And he wasn't grading anything, which was, I feel like it's always like the conflict of interest. There wasn't really conflict of interest, but it was still weird.
It was weird. There were some scenes where she's like talking to Miss her professor, but they're like flirting, and I'm like, yeah, that's just wrong.
That's weird, yeah.
But
hey, maybe we're from America. Maybe they do things differently in Oxford. Maybe that's normal. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But so basically she meets this guy named Jamie, and they're kind of like, she's like, I'm only here for a year. He has his own reasons. They're like, let's just have fun. We're just going to kind of hang out, and we're going to sleep together, and it's fine. It's just fun and whatever. And so it basically dives into the story of how they kind of fall in love, and they realize it's more than just fun. But then a series of events happen, and he does end up having a very rare illness that killed his brother that's genetic in his family. She finds out about this illness, but she still wants to stay and fight for the relationship, and we kind of see them struggle through like the toils of that and how they want a relationship, but they can't really have it because they don't know when he'll die, and they know it's soon. And so a lot of stuff happens, and we kind of just want to talk about it because it's a good movie. But I just hate movies like this.
Yeah, like it was so funny because we were watching it downstairs, like in our family room yesterday. And while we were watching it, there's like scenes happening, and Elsa and I are like, oh my gosh, this guy is so annoying. Because like there was one scene where like she kisses, or like they had gone on, it was like, so they went separately to a pub, which is like a bar in like England. And so they went to a pub. And, like, there was, like, this jerk that was talking about Americans and said some racist comments to her. So she, burns him and then literally leaves. And so he, like, Jamie follows her. And they, like, go on this impromptu date, which it really was a date. And then afterwards, like, he walks her back to her apartment. And she's like, do you want to come up for, like, did she say, like, tea and crumpet? I'm like, girl, please.
Oh, that's why he didn't come up.
You literally sound like an American. Like, I hate that for you. But, like, and, like, she kisses him. And from our view, he doesn't kiss her back. It's kind of really, like standing
there. And
we're like, Uyiosa and I are so upset. We're like, what the heck?
I'm like, what is going on?
First of all, why are you kissing him first? Second of all, like, why is this man not kissing you back? And it's like, and then when he doesn't kiss you back, you still invite him up to your room. It was like so weird. And so he leaves, and so we're already mad. We're like, oh my gosh, this is one of these jerk guys who's gonna be like, like jerk guy to lovers. Like, I'm like, oh, I hate that storyline. And there was the scene that like both got us like crazy. They go to this boating thing, and it's like, I guess, a huge thing. And she invites him to come too, but he's like, oh, I have a lot of things for my like dissertation, for my PhD, like I can't come. So she thinks he's just been busy in the library for weeks and studying. And then she asks one of like a person that like works at the library, oh, I'm sure you've been seeing Jamie. And she's like, I actually haven't seen him in weeks. And she's like, and she finds out that he has a really good girlfriend, like girl space friend that also had been claiming that she's been studying a lot. And so she's like, oh my gosh, he's cheating on me, which is like technically,
even though he's technically not, because they're not
technically
really
not
together.
But then they technically are. It's like this crazy thing. So she goes really upset, marches up into his house and she knows his passcode, goes into his house, walks up the stairs, and she sees Cecilia, right?
Yeah.
She sees her coming out, and she's like, wait. And so she, like, barges in, thinking she's going to find, like, cheating and, like, all these things. And she walks in, and she sees him connected to all these, like, monitors and IV tubes.
In a hospital bed.
And when Yosa and I saw that, we immediately clocked it. We were like, oh, my gosh, we know exactly what's happening with this movie. And we were so upset.
I was so mad.
I was like, no, I don't want a sad movie. I hate sad romance movies. Like, I genuinely hate that.
Because it's just like, I feel like the point of rom-coms.
Yeah. Rom-coms is like technically a wrong term because it's not comedy.
Yeah.
But romance
this one
movie
definitely wasn't comedy. It was rom-sad. Rom-death. But like, literally, because I feel like the point of those movies is to kind of it's just to give you hope of like, that can be out there for me. And then to see him die in the end, and she just has to live without them, and they were happy and they had no actual problems. They had a relationship that could have worked, and you're like, No, but I'm gonna rip that away from you because that's reality. That's life, and like you're loud.
Like,
Netflix
we already
is
know
laughing.
that's life. Like, we live life. We're human beings. We're all living. Like, when I'm watching something, I'm not watching for. If I'm watching romance or fantasy or something like that, or fiction, I'm watching for the fiction, the fake.
Exactly.
I'm not watching nonfiction. If I wanted to, like I said in like another episode we did, if I wanted to watch nonfiction, I would watch a documentary, not romance.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch a realistic, like, whatever. I can find that in my own life. I don't want to find that in a movie.
No, I hope and pray we don't find that in our own life. That's sad. It's
terrible.
But I mean, to get into like some of the themes and everything, even though we didn't like the ending of the movie, or we didn't even like how the movie started or midway became, because we obviously knew it was a sad movie. It's interesting. One thing that was huge in the movie was this whole idea of Anna. She was like, I have these goals, I have this plan, and it's always been like that. So she knew at 10 3/4 that she was going to be, she was going to go to Oxford and she was going to study this Victorian like poetry stuff. And so she was like, it was college, Oxford, Goldman Sachs. It was literally that's been her plan for years. And she knew it, and she was like, and Jamie was like, Goldman Sachs, that's so far removed from like, Victorian poetry. And she's like, well, life is not cheap, basically, what she said. She's like, you need to make money to live a comfortable life. And you saw that was like her goals throughout this whole like the beginning of it. Like, before she and Jamie got into this deep relationship with the sickness and everything, she was like, my goals and my dreams, I graduated college, I have this job lined up at Goldman Sachs, I'm taking a gap year at Oxford to study my dream and passion, and I'm going to go into real life. But then you see the reality of the movie. Like we said, it's reality. Dreams and goals and plans don't work out the way that you think they are. Like, I can't think of one person that's like, my life played out exactly like step by step how I thought it was going to play out.
If only.
I can't think of a single person that has happened to. And she herself experienced that. She realized that she fell in love with this great man that, had so much in his life in store for him. But because of this horrible sickness of cancer, he was like, I'm not going to fight something that I know is inevitable. And you saw that completely derailed her plans. It completely changed and shifted her mindset. She told her mom on FaceTime, she's like, I'm not coming back yet. I'm not going to work at Goldman Sachs. Her mom is like, you're ruining your life. And like, to us, we're kind of like, you are. But in a way, it's like, it's so complex.
There's so much, I think in her perspective, she was thinking there's so much more to life than just, I don't want to say don't get a job. Like, there's so much more to life than just a job and making money and paycheck after paycheck after paycheck.
No, I think that's so true. Like, there's been so many stories of, like, I was scrolling on Instagram one day and I saw this video where this guy was like, I, like, quit my, like, finance, like, making tons of money job in, like, a big city to go to like an Asian country, I can't remember what country, to go live with my grandma while she's, sick. I mean, she's not like sick where she's like dying, but she's getting older. She has to go to doctor's appointments more regularly. And he's like, I'm going to spend the rest of her life living with her. He quit the big job. He quit the big money just to live with his family. And I think that to me is so admirable. Yeah. Like, we're not upset at this movie because it's not like showing a good theme and good message. We're mad because it's not the romance we were expecting. We were expecting
it was like false advertising.
It literally was. Like, the whole thing is you see two people in Oxford, not in Oxford, like in London, and it's like romance. She's gonna like, Hallmark Christmas movie. That's what I was expecting. Like,
I thought like, oh, she's just gonna like realize she loves him more than like the plan and the job, and they're gonna live happily ever after. But no. No. It was the opposite. And I think that I respect that. Like, I think that if she had actually led, we would be thinking something different. We would think she's a horrible person. Yeah, because like literally.
Like, I mean, especially because like, it would make sense if like you're not in like a serious relationship, obviously, and it's kind of like, oh, we actually were a fling, and you kind of just broke away and left.
Yeah.
But they were not. Like, even though they tried to lie and say that they were,
could tell.
everyone, and even the people that, like, were their friends were like, we know you're serious. Like,
yeah.
like, one of the guys before he knew that he was sick was like, so, like, when are you going to give us reassurance that you're going to be with her for the next, like, more than 6 months? Like, they all knew that they were serious. Like, it was just like, you know, like, they were saying words, but it wasn't real.
Exactly. And I think one of the things, like, about the movie that, like, especially Jamie's always saying, because, like, he is the professor, so, but, like,
he's not a professor, because to be a professor, you have to be, like, hired as a professor, and, like, I think there's a certain thing and qualification.
She, like, calls him professor.
Because that you'll understand this in college. Technically, that you call someone a professor, that doesn't mean they're a professor.
Oh.
They're technically just a teacher.
Just teacher. Not that that's
oh yeah.
better.
Remember how she would just call him professor? Like,
yeah, while they were together, she's like, "Well, professor,"
and I'm like, that's she's like,
it was almost like
a
flirty,
but
so like
weird.
weird. But one of the things Jamie's always saying in the movie is, like, life is, like, fleeting. Like, we don't get to choose how long we live, but we just get to decide, like, how we spend the time that we have. And I think, like I know he's, like, almost trying to, like, live through the words that he's saying, because, like, in, like, one of the scenes, it's like, you shouldn't just read poetry. I think, like, we should live it, because that's what these people were writing about. These people were, like, Shakespeare and all these other writers are writing about tragedies in their lives and how life was hard, and like taking that and making it something out of almost like nothing, when you're gonna die in who knows X amount of time. You have maybe 6 months to a year left to live. And I think the important message of life is fleeting, like you were saying. Yeah, she could have taken the job, and she could have been, maybe she would have been happy in New York, but we won't ever know, because life meant, the short love that she had with Jamie meant so much more to her than some job that, you know, she probably could get anyway. Even saying, like, even pushing it back, or jobs she could get probably anywhere else in the world, or similar jobs, that meant nothing.
Or she may have left anyway. There's, like, those jobs have huge turnovers. Like,
exactly.
People leave so fast, and so.
And I love the quote, like, it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And I think that's what she lived by, because I know they never really. She told him she loved him in the movie, and he never really said it back. And there's a reason for that, but I think, like, they love each other.
She didn't say, like, yeah, she kind of said I love you, but it was like not weird, but, like, he said something, and she said I love you too, in response to him.
Because I think they both just knew there's no way, like we can't say it, or else it'll hurt so much more than it already does.
And he knew he couldn't say that. She could say that because she would be living on, but he was like, I can't tell her I love her, even though I do, because, like, I'm the one that's leaving, kind of thing. And so, we were so upset, like, after this movie, like, so upset.
I, like, went on TikTok, and, like, now I'm just seeing all the edits of, like, Netflix, like, I'm coming for you. You did. Which is so true. I feel like Netflix, every once in a while, they start coming out with, like, these romance movies, and they, like, slide a movie or show in there that's just devastating, and you're like, what the heck? Like, I was not expecting this at all, and now you're just, like, crushed. And I'm like, okay.
Like, I was upset, but maybe this was just me. I feel like I was not, like, emotionally, like, attached to their relationship.
I, like, saw, like, a video, because my whole For You page is this movie, but people were saying the romance felt a little bit rushed, which was kind of what we were saying when we were watching it. It almost felt like, okay, well, they're kind of, like, you know, acting like they're together, but they're not together, and then, like, they're going to events, and it's kind of like, it felt like it happened super fast. So them having these deep feelings, and when she said I love you too, it was kind of like, I get it, but it's also, like, I feel like we've seen, like,
I mean, it was a year.
Yeah, like, but it feels like we've seen 4 scenes of them actually together, and then the rest is, like, fast forwarded, like, flashback kind of thing. So great actors, but again, I do think, like, the story could have been slowed down just a little bit.
It could have been a longer, right? How long was it?
It was like 2 hours. So they could have put a solid 30 more minutes in to, you know, really, like, put the cherry on top for that romance.
I think so too.
But I think another thing that's really sad about the movie is kind of like Jamie's family, kind of like we see in the movie his father, who had also lost another son to the same condition that Jamie had, which is like uncurable. The only thing they could do were clinical trials and basically just a bunch of tests to basically hope and pray that they would find a cure. And so I think one thing about the movie is like the dad's kind of like seen as the villain at first. Like the first scene we ever see of the dad, he's like yelling at Jamie.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You don't know what you're doing," like all this.
And we're like, oh no, it's one of the rich dads.
He's
like
because we thought it was like, oh, he wants him to like take over the family business or something
like CEO.
stupid. Like I was like, oh, whatever. And then
but that's such an American view. It's just like, oh,
because that's what they feed us. That's like every movie. I'm like, what else am I supposed to expect?
Exactly.
But like we see in one of the scenes where it's like he had said something to his son when like he'd said something to Jamie when his other son had passed. Like Jamie kind of never let that go, but that wasn't even the real reason they were fighting, because Jamie didn't want to do all the clinical trials. He didn't want to take all the tests and go through all the medication and all the things he'd have to do, because he's like, I'm basically just dying slower. I'm not living longer. And so his dad just like couldn't comprehend like why he couldn't even want to try and save his life. And like we see one scene, Anna is like talking to the dad, and he's like, he basically tells her, he's like, you have no idea what it's like to lose a child. Not only one, but two children. Yeah. And like I just think that like it's an important part of life to just see the realities of this world and how it's so hard, because no one's in the wrong or the right in that situation. No. It's his body, it's his choice, his life. I'm sure those trials are not easy. They're not a walk in the park. You don't feel well, you're sick, you're weak, you are literally at your wit's end. And basically people are telling you, no, you just got to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting, because they want to see their child live. Who doesn't? Like
can you imagine as a parent, like having to make the decision, like I have to accept that I'm allowing my child to die. Like it was like
at like what, 28, maybe 27. Like
I saw it, like when I feel like actually what touched me the most in the movie was the dad, because you just saw like the love that he had for his children, the love he had for his family. It was like he was like trying to do everything, and maybe that painted him as the bad guy. He didn't care. He was like, I don't care if I look like the bad guy. He's like, I want my children to live. I want my son to live. Yeah. And it's like that to me, I think, touched me more than the romance. I'm sorry.
That hurt.
Like that, it was just so realistic. It was just like, I was just like, oh.
For once, I'm like, I'm actually on the bad dad side.
I saw it. I was like, can you imagine your own kid? Can you even imagine our sibling or something like that, or one of us like saying that I'm gonna give up after, like I'm not gonna try anymore. Like I know me. Like everyone in my house knows me. They know I would be the loudest person in the room. I'd be yelling. I'd be like, that's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, it just shows again, like this movie is just more than just about love, about how difficult illnesses and sicknesses are. But at the end of the movie, we see that like Anna is basically able to let them come together, and he's able to respect his son's decision, and Jamie's able to kind of understand his father's side. But at the end of the day, we have to respect people's choices, because that's life, right? Life is not, and again, like life is fleeting, but you should love anyway. That wasn't just talking about Jamie and Anna. That was talking about Jamie and his dad and his friends and his people, because Jamie and his dad been butting heads for so long about the treatment, about whatever, about the son, about all these other things. And they realize one day, and they're just like, what are we fighting about? My son has maybe a month left to live. Like I'm gonna spend every moment I can with him, like if that's what he chooses.
It was beautiful. I think that was my favorite, like seeing the father and son come back together and like love each other and say, like laughing and like playing together again. It was just like, to me, I think that was the best part of that movie. It was like that was like, so that, like I love romance. We've talked a lot about that on this podcast. But I think, and I've also said this so many times, I love family. Like family is probably like one of my favorite things besides the romance. And in this movie, I especially love that because I felt it was just so real. It was just,
Yeah.
I felt like, yeah, that is something that could happen.
Yeah, you could for sure relate to it. But
Yeah. I think another thing, kind of Uyiosa touched on this a bit, but life is fleeting, life is short, and grief is long. Like that is something that was really portrayed in this movie a lot. Cecilia, which was Jamie's brother's girlfriend, yeah, you saw, like, did they ever say how long it was since Jamie had passed away?
No, but I think it was like
it was a good while.
Bit,
yeah, it was a good while since Jamie had passed away, but you saw that she was still struggling. She was like, yeah, I've been trying to, I go on dates every once in a while, but like the grief is still there. And one thing that, Anna, not Sophia Carson, Anna had asked Cecilia in the movie was like, do you ever regret staying in that and like developing these feelings for this relationship? And at first it seems like Cecilia is not going to answer. Someone else calls her over, but she pauses and she's like, no, I never did. And that to me was so beautiful and so profound, because in a way, like, you would think, if you know the end, if you know the future, if you know the end is death, the selfish person, the selfish man or woman is like, I want to protect myself and leave and take myself out of that situation. But life is so short, life is so fleeting, anyone could pass away anytime. And so we shouldn't let some supposed predetermined end or idea of an end stop us from living life to its fullest. And I think that that's what she did. And that's why Cecilia said she never regretted it. And that's why Anna was able to say, I never regretted it, because me and Jamie, we lived to our fullest. We loved to our fullest. And I think that in our life, we should be striving to live to our fullest, love to our fullest, serve to our fullest, be to our fullest. Like, I think that is just humanity. And I think that like, people ask, how do you be happy? How do you, like, in this world that's so sad, in this world of evil, how do we be happy? And I think that living life to its fullest and loving to its fullest the people around us is one avenue to happiness.
Yeah, and I think one of the lines, like, it's like kind of a parallel in the movie. Like she's like, I've learned to not regret the things you do, but regret the things that you didn't do. Like, because I think what would have happened if she left for Goldman Sachs, if she left to go back to New York or wherever, I think one day, whether that was a week after, month after, 10 years after, I think she would have regretted not spending that time with Jamie that she had, that she could have had, because you just never know. Because she never would have known. She never would have taken a chance on what love they could have had. And no, she knew he was going to die. No, he wasn't going to be her husband or even in her life for the rest of her life. But it was just the time that was fleeting. That 1 year that they had, those 2 weeks they had after her birthday or whatever, that was what meant so much. And she'll never forget that. That's what's so much more important than her choosing to take the high road and choosing to run away and protect her heart. Because maybe that would have protected your heart, but it's like you never would have known what love feels like. You never would have had that love, that compassion, and everything that she experienced with him.
I agree. Yeah, like... I just wish it wasn't a sad movie. I hate sad movies.
Because they're so good.
They're so good.
It hurts much. Because it's like what could have been. And also it hurts because it's reality. Yeah. Because this happens. It's like, it's not even like this is like a fictional.
Or like fantasy where it's
so
like
they got like stabbed
elves and
in
stuff,
the heart.
and like the elf comes and stabs. Like, that's not happening in real life. I mean, it's sad, but I'm like, okay, let's be for real.
I'm good from the aliens. Like,
yeah.
No, but like this is literally a disease that like he physically, even his brother had tried to fight against it and he lost the battle.
And I don't think there's a person on this planet that doesn't at least know one person, maybe not necessarily close, but doesn't know at least one person that hasn't struggled with cancer.
Yeah, or some type of illness that's taken them, or
that's
COVID. Even we saw that. It was like no one would have thought that like some disease would
it's
come
like
and
basically
kill.
the flu is gonna kill people. Many people.
So many lives are lost, and I think
the reality of it, like, it makes it beautiful. I feel like I say I would read it as a book, but I also feel like I wouldn't because I hate sad endings.
I would not be able to make it. I tried reading The Fault in Our Stars after I watched the movie.
I did read that book though.
Before or after the movie?
I think before.
Okay, yeah, I watched the movie because I didn't know it was a book. Because okay. I was pretty young when the book came out, so I remember I watched the movie and I was like, when he.
But you didn't know it was sad?
No, I mean, like, I'd seen clips, but I was like, you never really know unless you watch it. And then I was like, all right. I was like, she's gonna die, and then he died. I was like, okay.
You're like,
okay, y'all already playing with my feelings with her, and then you guys had to go kill off the guy. Like, that one's even worse. When it's the one you don't think is gonna die, and then they die. Like,
because they were in the. This is a side note. The Fault in Our is it The Fault in Our Stars?
The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah. They were in high school, right?
Yeah, they were kids. They were young. He I think he may have been older. He was a little bit older than her, but I think she was in high school. But I mean, also, I don't know, she wasn't like really functioning because she had like her pacemaker, right? In the movie or
pacemaker doesn't mean you're not functioning.
Or not functioning, but I don't know if she went to school. I thought she was like homeschooled or something.
It's been so long since we watched that, but they were young. I watched it
like 3 years ago.
I feel
they were in their teens. They
were in their teens. I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
So it's like that one. It hurts more because it's like it's children.
Literally a child.
It's not just like, I mean, yes, it's sad with these people, but these people were children.
Exactly. But I mean, another thing I kind of just want to talk about is the people. Just your support system. I feel like we're talking about this in a lot of episodes, but I think it's just important to always reiterate it because you always need a support system. And we saw her friends, Charlie and Jamie, and the girl's name. The weird one that was dating Tom. I remember Tom, but I don't remember the girl's name.
I don't remember her name either.
The one with the curly hair. Like, we saw it. It's like,
she needs to fix her hair, girl.
Yeah. When like they were so supportive of this relationship, they're like, even though he basically their professor, like they were like, oh, go get him. Like, yeah, you got it, girl.
He's not the professor.
He's not the professor, but like,
it's so weird.
If my friend was dating a guy that was teaching our class, I would not be like, yeah, go get him.
No, my roommate had told me one day that her like friend from high school was dating a guy that was 10 years older than her.
Oh, I thought you were about to say dating the teacher.
No. But here's the thing. We were freshmen in college, so we were all 18. So her friend was dating a 28-year-old man. And this girl was, in fact, Muslim. This girl lived at home. And so she was sneaking around with this. It was something.
Scandal.
And this guy was, like, still living with his ex because he couldn't move. It was a mess. Yes.
It's like something out of, like,
yes, it's something out of a
TV
book and
show.
movie. It's
I don't
so weird.
know. But, like, we just saw, like, her friends were so supportive because they didn't know about Jamie's illness until probably towards the end of the movie. But even then, they were still like, go get him. Like, we want you to stay in Oxford. Like, we want you to do what makes you happy. They were never like, oh, like, go away. Like, don't get yourself hurt. Like, which is, maybe I would have been saying things like that to my friends because you don't want to watch people you love get hurt. But we saw that those friends, like, were so supportive and they lifted her up because I think they also just understood that, like, watching them together, seeing their love grow, they're like there's nothing else like this. Like, you can't just give up on this and run away, even if it is hard. You have to give it a chance, even if you have 10 minutes or 10 years, whatever it may be. You have to live life fully and you have to love fully, I think, too.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I love the message of this movie. I think that everything you're saying, we need to surround ourselves with people that lift us up. But, like, life is fleeting, life is short, and we need to live life to our fullest. And that doesn't mean live stupidly. It means live like, care about the people around you. Make sure that you're telling your family I love you. That's one thing, like, years ago someone had said, oh, I maybe it was a show, maybe it was a movie, maybe it was real life. Someone was like, I would hate to regret not ever saying I love you to my family if they ever accidentally died or anything. So that's why I always try and like telling my family like I love you, and so we should all be striving to do that. And I think I love the idea and message of this movie, but I hate that it was a romance. Like it was advertised as a romance, and I was expecting happy, and I didn't get that.
It was a romance. They advertised it as a happy romance.
It was not. But
don't lie to me, Netflix.
Don't lie to me.
When I catch you, bro.
But that's reality, and that's life, and I think that this portrayed it well. And so
yeah, for sure.
Out of as a movie, it was good. As a romance, not good.
Yeah, no. If you're looking for romance recommendations, put that in like the sad section where you want to cry. Don't put it with like the 10 things I hate about you, how to lose a guy, and like don't put it in that section. No. That's a whole no. But I think that's everything we have for today. I mean, I think we really truly did enjoy the movie as a movie, not as a romance. Like, there's a few things I would have tweaked, but overall it was a really well done movie, advertised really well, great acting, great script, great writing, I think. But I mean, if you haven't already, make sure to give this video a like and make sure to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, which is Instagram and TikTok. We post twice a day, every single day. And just make sure to leave a good comment how you felt about the movie. I know a lot of people are upset. Some people love the movie. So, a little bit of conflicting opinions. But, overall, I think a lot of people liked it. So I guess we'll just have to see what you guys say, and we'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Bye.